AM News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Cars Plus, drive home in a brand new 2021 Hyundai Palisade equipped with Guam's only lifetime powertrain limited warranty. Call 477-7807 or visit carsplusguam.com. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on Prime Time. Abortions on Guam. Nestor Lecanto has the details about a lawsuit filed by the American Civil Liberties Union. And our Adriana Cotero continues her reports on the Joshua Palacios murder trial. Plus, we head to Santa Rita and talk with residents who continue to struggle to put food on the table for their families.
Hafide and good evening. I'm Peter Santos. The American Civil Liberties Union is challenging a pair of Guam laws that it says is blocking complete access to abortion here. While abortion is legal in Guam, the ACLU has filed suit arguing that certain statutes unlawfully prohibit medication abortion by telemedicine. Here's more.
The lawsuit was filed on behalf of two OBGYN doctors in Hawaii, Shandini Raidu and Bliss Kaneshiro. Both are licensed on Guam and are also faculty members of the University of Hawaii Medical School's Family Planning Division. According to the complaint, current Guam law prohibits the doctors from serving their abortion patients from off-island. It further states that while Guam law requires abortions be performed by a licensed physician in an approved hospital or medical clinic, the statute, quote, does not appear to differentiate between procedural abortions in a clinical setting and medication abortions. In fact, the abortion pill was not available in 1978 when the law was enacted. The plaintiffs contend that laws that prohibit or impose substantial obstacles to pre-viability abortion violate long-standing legal precedent. It also states that, quote, every Guamanian should be able to make that decision without government-imposed barriers, without shame, and without being forced to leave their home and the support of their community to get the care they need. The long list of defendants in the suit include Attorney General Levin Camacho, various medical oversight and regulation boards, and hospital and public health administrators, all in their official capacities. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Local attorney Vanessa Williams has been retained by the ACLU for the case. She and an ACLU attorney will be guests on Friday morning's The Link multimedia show. Be sure to tune in for that. Day 9 of murder defendant Joshua Palacios' trial revealed the weapon used to kill Keith Castro. This morning in Judge Vern Perez's courtroom, the government called up 3 police officers to testify. KUAM's Adriana Cotero reports.
On August 2, 2019, the day Thomas Teitzno self-surrendered to Guam Police Department's Criminal Investigation Division detectives, he identified Joshua Palacios as the shooter who killed Keith Castro. Castro was assaulted by Teitzno, then allegedly fatally shot by Palacios on July 28, 2019 in Jico. Guam Police Department officer Carl Lizama testified that based off of Teitzno's interview, detectives were able to identify Palacios as a person of interest and locate him at a duplex in Barrigada. Teitzno has since pled guilty to his role in Castro's homicide.
When we got there, of course, we were with SWAT personnel. We were with other CID detectives. When we got there, I believe Officer Asanoma approached the door at the time, and I believe he identified Palacios to be at the door, in which Palacios closed the door on him. He identified Palacios at that time. I believe there was an unsecured window that I entered. I went in through the unsecured window. I opened up the door. I let the other SWAT personnel in, and we gained entry through the bedroom door, and we found Palacios and I believe his girlfriend Jaylene Cabby sleep on the bed.
The search warrant was executed and GPD SWAT personnel seized Palacios along with his girlfriend Jaylene Cruz Cab. During the search, detectives confiscated a pistol and a revolver. The pistol suspected to be the weapon that Palacios allegedly shot Castro with.
And what did you find in the bedroom?
Under the mattress of the bed was a pistol.
Okay, and what kind of pistol was this?
It was a Parabellum 9mm.
And was there anything else under the bed, if you recall?
There was a green sling pouch with another firearm, a 38 SPL revolver.
The two firearms were brought into evidence this morning by the government. Further, defense counsel Tom Fisher displayed the alleged weapons to the jury. Palacios' trial resumes tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. in Superior Court Judge Vern Paris' courtroom. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Adriana Cotero.
Jury selection is underway in federal drug defendant Mark Mayo's trial. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, jury selection is occurring at the Guam National Guard building in Barrigada. Mayo was arrested in 2019 during a drug raid in Estumbo. He was indicted on conspiracy to distribute meth and attempted possession of meth with the intent to distribute charges. Mayo's trial is one of the first to occur in the District Court of Guam during the ongoing pandemic. Today, the Guam National Guard kicked off day 3 of their vaccination clinic at the Yoji Calvo Fieldhouse. Operation Liberate Guam is a vaccination initiative which aims to achieve an 80% herd immunity through vaccines for the island by July 21st, Liberation Day. Guam National Guard Public Affairs Officer Mark Scott.
In support of the Guam Department of Public Health and Social Services, we've been able to take our combat medics out from the hospitals because we've gotten the curve under control recently, thank you. And we're applying them to our own vaccination clinic here at the University of Guam Fieldhouse.
The vaccination clinic is available for Phase 1C individuals 60 years of age and older. There are 85 slots available per hour from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. until Saturday. Those seeking vaccinations are highly encouraged to schedule an appointment on tinyurl.com/vaccinategu.
The best way for you to register and come in smoothly, like a fast pass. There is a small allocation for walk-ins available too, up to, I believe, about 20 to 25 per hour, but your best bet is to go to the Eventbrite website and schedule your appointment.
Scott compared the virus to the island's history of colonization, saying, quote, "We've been occupied by this deadly force that restricts our freedoms, so we're doing our best to join the fight and liberate us all from it." It's free, it's quick, and it's painless. Community mass testing resumes tomorrow at the Tizen Carnival grounds. Public Health PIO Janela Carrera gives us an update on how things are going. Here's more.
Together, the people of Guam have done an amazing job at correcting course and bringing our COVID cases down. And so far, over 20,000 island residents have received either the Pfizer or Moderna COVID vaccine. Over the Tizen Carnival grounds, Public Health held their free COVID-19 community mass testing. Public Health PIO Janela Carrera.
We're very happy to be offering community testing to our residents once again. It's been a couple weeks since we last offered community testing, COVID-19 testing. We're very excited. Actually, we saw a long line of cars this morning, and it's very encouraging to see that. This is a very important part of our fight against COVID-19. It's still very much important for people to get tested for COVID-19. We still continue to see some positive cases out there.
And it seems like the public thinks testing is pretty important too.
We actually have been getting a lot of great feedback, a lot of people asking when's the next community testing. We get phone calls from at our office, we get phone calls at the JIC, Homeland Security, calling the governor's office, comments online, when is the next testing.
And with the test kits being used at Tizen, you can get in and out in no time at all.
The type of testing that we're offering is the antigen testing. It's called the Buy Next Now. It's just a little Q-tip that goes at the very shallow part of your nostril. 5 little swirls on each nostril, and you get your results in 15 minutes.
Santa Rita resident Mark Palacios says he continues to get tested to keep his loved ones safe.
The importance of getting routine testing for COVID is because I don't have the vaccine, and I think since the virus is still on our island, I would rather know to keep my family safe. I think it's a good practice, again, for everybody else in the community if they haven't got vaccinated yet, to do the testings. It's still free. It's available to us on island, and we're protecting each other.
Free community mass testing will resume tomorrow at the Tizen Carnival grounds from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. It is important to note that if you're wanting a PCR COVID test for travel, you can set an appointment at the Northern Region Community Health Center in Derrida.
The Joint Information Center reports that 2 new COVID-19 cases have been confirmed out of 516 tests performed on Tuesday. Guam's current coronavirus case count since last March is now at 7,568 with 129 deaths. 88 active cases, and over 7,300 recoveries. There are 9 coronavirus admissions in island hospitals, with 3 patients in the ICU and 2 on ventilators. Guam's CAR score is now at 0.4, and so far a total of 22,049 vaccinations have been administered, with 4,751 individuals fully immunized. On Wednesday, food distributions were held at the Santa Rita Community Center, but with several restrictions still in place and a sore economy, many are left to wonder how things will be after the pandemic. Tyler Matanani has more.
The island may be ahead of the game with vaccinations and containing COVID-19, and a glimmer of hope is given as restrictions are lifted. But thousands of Guam residents are still struggling. Restrictions on businesses have left a generous population of the island's workforce with either reduced hours or no work at all. Several, like this woman, have had to rely on village food distributions for some of the most basic needs. This is her first time attending any of the food distribution sites.
It's been hard for my family, you know, with when this whole pandemic started. So it's this whole distribution thing that the mayors are doing it helps out all the families that are going through a lot now, who have reduced hours in work, who've lost their jobs, who are barely making it.
Although she expressed gratitude to the mayors for their continued efforts to support and maintain stability in the villages, like many others, she says they still need more in terms of pandemic assistance.
You know, I'm sure the governor can do a lot better for our island, for our people, to help us and everything. I think will be good for the people of Guam who are in this current situation now, not having a job or have reduced hours.
How's it been for you and your family throughout the whole thing?
You know, we're getting by, but it's hard. It's hard. And yeah, we're trying to survive like everybody else.
The Santa Rita Mayor's office was hard at work, determined to get as many food packages to as many residents as possible. Santa Rita Mayor Dale Alvarez also assisted with the food distribution, and he gave his input on how the mayors continue to rise up to the occasion, but can only do so much with what resources they're given.
The mayor's budget has been slashed big time, and here we are doing more than what we're supposed to be doing out of our duties. So if they can help us out, because I'll be very happy to help my constituents and the people, the other villages are just like me, we're thinking of our people. But we have to get some more budget to help everybody that we can help.
The nation's top scientists and public health officials held their first virtual briefing today to discuss the federal response to the coronavirus pandemic. The event comes as the U.S. reaches another grim milestone, 79,000 coronavirus deaths so far this month. Naomi Ruckham reports from New York.
And now is the time to remain vigilant.
Members of President Biden's COVID-19 response team spoke directly to the American people about the worsening pandemic.
479,000 to 514,000 COVID-19 deaths will be reported by February 20th, 2021.
To combat the spread, the federal government has agreed to buy 200 million more vaccine doses, enough to vaccinate 300 million Americans by the end of summer or early fall.
Even so, it will be months before everyone who wants a vaccine will be able to get one.
Public health officials are still looking into the effect of the vaccine on new variants of the virus.
We have to be concerned looking forward at what the further evolution of this might be.
They also addressed vaccine disparities affecting the rollout.
Your ability to pay should not play a role in your decision of whether or not to receive this vaccine.
President Biden has promised to give state governors more of a heads up on how many vaccines to expect to help distribution plans. This mass vaccination site opened in Paterson, New Jersey, where officials have decided to give shots on a first-come, first-served basis.
Within coming weeks, the vaccine supply should increase by 16%. This is a wartime effort.
New York City is set to receive about 17,000 extra doses of vaccine starting next week.
All that matters is vaccinating the most Americans as quickly as possible.
With positivity and hospitalization rates in New York declining, the governor has agreed to lift COVID restrictions across much of the state, but indoor dining remains closed. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
A request for an oversight hearing has officially been made to look into the allegations of impropriety at the government's quarantine facility. KUAM brought you the story a couple of weeks ago. With the latest, here's Sabrina Salas Matanani.
You know, I think it's really at this point, when they review it, they've got to, of course, sit down with all the parties involved, discuss it with them and interview them. And then from there, it's really, the parties involved, they investigate, they discuss it, and then from there, it's a personnel issue at that point.
Minority Leader Senator James Moylan is requesting Speaker Therese Terlahi to hold an oversight hearing into allegations that have surfaced regarding inappropriate behavior at the government's quarantine facility perpetrated by certain public health nurses. Senator Terlahi is the oversight chair over the agency. As reported, KUAM received a copy of the complaint alleging certain nurses assigned to the government quarantine facility are logging hours for work they are not performing. Included in the complaint are allegations that certain nurses who are assigned suites in the hotel are sleeping on the job, drinking alcohol, or not even on site. The complaint cites an incident during which a passenger complained of chest pain and shortness of breath, but no assessment was performed and the passenger was not offered to be transferred to the Guam Memorial Hospital's ER for evaluation. Quote, "She told the passenger to go to sleep. They're probably just nervous," the complaint stated. One of the nurses also allegedly participated in the free community testing at the Micronesia Mall in December and mislabeled 3 people as negative. The supervisor had to call these individuals to inform them it was a mistake. Earlier this week on The Link, public health spokesperson Janela Carrera said the complaint remains under review.
It's being reviewed, so it's under investigation?
My understanding is it's under review.
Under review and not under investigation? According to Senator Moylan's letter to the Speaker, quote, "What concerns me most about these accusations is that it identifies specifics where the health and welfare of some passengers were in question, as well as the opening of greater liabilities for the government. If these charges are deemed to be accurate, there needs to be some accountability placed on those responsible." Senator Terlahi earlier this week said she was aware of the allegations and had discussed the matter with Public Health Director Art San Augustine, who she hopes will act on the matter swiftly as Guam continues its battle against COVID.
I hope, of course, that they just do what they need to do, because we've got many other issues to address. We don't need these, I call them these huge distractions of alternate behavior. Yeah, we just need everyone to do what they're supposed to be doing and get this job done.
Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Sabrina Salas Matanani.
When we return, we get details from a special Guam DOE meeting held Tuesday, and the Guam Chamber of Commerce reacts to the governor's, quote, State of Economy address. You're watching KUAM.
For many years, with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Hila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the islands. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
While we've all been through a lot over the years,
typhoons, earthquakes, and now COVID-19,
we've been able to get through these together.
For more than 80 years,
Travelers Insurance has been protecting your homes, your businesses,
and the health of your family.
We are here today and we'll be here tomorrow.
There are better days ahead,
Tomorrow's a new day filled with hope and choices.
The possibilities of what we can achieve together are limitless.
Let's continue to work together to ensure a brighter tomorrow for all of us.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
The Office of Public Accountability has issued a report on the Department of Chamorro Affairs non-appropriated funds. DCA reported a $660,000 net loss for fiscal year 2019, as opposed to the increase of the previous year. The agency received a clean opinion, however, identified 3 material weaknesses and 1 deficiency in its non-appropriated funds: internal control over financial reporting. The 1 deficiency was brought to the auditor's attention with the help of a concerned citizen. Between June through November 2019, $2,000 worth of rental billings to a specific Chamorro Village tenant were voided at the instruction and approval of DCA's former executive director, despite no evidence to justify voided transactions. The report states that former DCA executive had a financial interest in this specific tenant. You can read the audit report at opaguam.org. Senator Talina Nelson, who has oversight over the Port Authority of Guam, has launched a formal inquiry into the hiring practices employed by the port. The justification for any past hiring involves individuals with a criminal history. She also requested the Civil Service Commission to conduct a post-audit of the port's hiring practices. The letter also requests confirmation that the port's hiring practices over the previous 4 years have adhered to Guam laws and the Government of Guam's administrative rules and regulations. The senator has also sent a Freedom of Information request to Guam Customs asking for details on the quality and frequency of cargo inspections at the port to address concerns of illegal drug importation. Sometimes you just have to agree to disagree. Responding to the governor's speech before the chamber yesterday, Chairperson Christine Boleto says they didn't expect she would change her opposition to a rollback of business privilege tax. Both sides have been consistent in their positions. The government says that the government can't take that big of a revenue hit and still provide expected services. Meanwhile, Boleto says that the chamber has to respond to the champion business community, and many are in survival mode.
We feel are helpful to our business community. And again, going to what she said, we're not always going to agree, but it's not going to deter us from, pursuing what we think is important to that business community, and most importantly, to getting people back to work.
The chamber and the governor are collaborating through an economic diversification working group to come up with new ways to spark new industries and investment to shore up the hard-hit economy. GITA Administrator Melanie Mendiola said the recovery plan also includes improving the government's system automation and digitization, making it easier for businesses to navigate. Approximately 80 to 85% of GDOE's local budget goes to personnel, but now almost $85 million is being appropriated to the department through federal funding, and they may finally be able to make the long-term improvements that they have needed for years. Tyler Matanani has more on the special board meeting.
The Guam Department of Education held a special board meeting to address the adoption of the FY22 budget request of $373 million. Superintendent John Fernandez.
These next funds are really going to be focused on reopening schools. What is it going to take to maintain and sustain a safe school environment so that more kids can come back for face-to-face instruction.
Fernandez addressed concerns brought by Senator Joe San Augustine in regards to the $110 million in federal funds brought forth for COVID-19 response and whether that amount will be taken out of the local budget.
The federal funds come with a condition that the government has to provide what they call a maintenance of effort. And that maintenance of effort is based on the last 3 years of government support for elementary, secondary, and even post-secondary education. And so we have to report on that to USDOE. We have to sign an assurance that that is going to be the commitment.
From the $110 million provided, approximately $85 million is estimated for GDOE, while the remaining funds will be allocated to private and charter schools.
There will be a needs assessment that has to be done as part of this process, as part of our consultation process that we have to do as part of the request for funds. And then after that, we'll be able to submit a budget proposal to USDOE and get them to sign off on it. And then we can confirm, the use of those funds.
If the board receives confirmation on whether federal funds will cover what's needed for COVID response, as well as items that are not typically funded in the local budget, the board will reduce their budget requests to the legislature. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Tyler Matanani.
It was scheduled to partially reopen to tourists from South Korea this month, but CNMI Governor Ralph Torres Communications Director Kevin Bautista says it's been delayed to February. Bautista says they're just waiting for formal government correspondences from Korea to open up the travel bubble.
The progress has been moving quite steadily, but one of the biggest things for us is ensuring that is to get that agreement put in place, and then also activating a lot of our private tourism partners within the source markets to get them ready to go.
Bautista says the community's success and proactive leadership to contain COVID in the CNMI has allowed them to be in the position to be in the first in the Pacific Ocean to reopen tourism in a way that remains conscious of their public health priorities, while cognizant of the need to get their economy back up and running. Local fishermen still have a chance to get hooked up with federal money. Tomorrow is the official deadline for those eligible to apply for CARES Act Fisheries Relief Fund. The initial deadline was last August, but was extended to January 29th. Department of Agriculture Director Chelsea Munya-Brecht says payments could range anywhere from $1,000 to $30,000 to pay based on the income loss as a result of the pandemic. For more information, call 735-0294. You can also email fisheries@doag.guam.gov to request an application packet. Keep it here. We have the details to this year's Relay for Life. You're watching KUAM. Oof.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
Ever since you've been hanging out with Jack, there's something different about you.
Everyone's feeling the late night vibe with my $4 sauced and loaded tots with cheddar bacon or jalapeno ranch.
We get it. Living to the fullest is tough during COVID-19. You don't need to do it alone, and everyone needs a hand right now. We are here. Feeling overwhelmed? Call 647-8833 and let's talk. Mangagihem is a project of Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center.
With the current state of the island and things slowly improving, many in the community are wondering how this year's Relay for Life will be managed. Since the True Island tradition moved fully virtual last year, Tina Knockett joins us on the link this morning with the details for what's planned to have us combat cancer together as a community.
But they really, missed that intimate, in-person kind of thing. So definitely this year, we've moved into PCOR 2, so we're hoping to be able to offer more opportunities, maybe not in the grand scan traditional way we used to do Relay, but maybe definitely a combination of ways that we can get out into the community. So we're very excited. Our planning committee is coming up with several events throughout the year so that we have more opportunities to get with our survivors and honor our family members that have been through the journey, as well as give our community the opportunities to fight back.
So what are some of the activities you guys are looking at?
Well, first and foremost, next week on February 4th is actually World Cancer Day. And nationwide, we're going to use this day to kick off Relay Nationwide. So for us, we're going to do a little bit of a kickoff here locally because we're ahead of everybody else in the States. And then on the 5th, the nation is going live on the Relay for Life Facebook to do a one-time kickoff with everybody across the state. So that's the first thing off the bat. So we invite everybody to tune into our Facebook pages to get the information on how to join that. And then we are looking at definitely a separate luminaria ceremony, so folks can still get the opportunity to decorate those bags, come out and take a look at the bags. So we're looking at different venues and opportunities. We don't know if that's going to be a drive-by kind of situation or a static display, but it's going to be definite. We're aiming towards something where folks can actually come out, socially distance. Of course, we'll take the proper precautions and make sure we get all the protocols in place and approved by our the Department of Public Health and Social Services before we move forward with that. But those are the types of things that we're looking forward to, and also definitely recognition of our survivors and our caregivers. I think they look forward and we look forward to seeing them every year. So whether that be, a combination of what we've seen in the past with those drive-through graduations or some sort of separate opportunity for them, for us to come out and celebrate them, get them out, and again, just be motivated and inspired by their stories and offer that support system that really is unique to Relay.
When you say separate luminary, are you mean separate as from the actual Relay?
Well, so I think, we did have our virtual event last year. And as we were setting that up for the filming, we kind of took a look and we were like, man, this is outside. This is, it's hindsight is 2020. We were really trying to get everything together for our show. And we recognized that was an opportunity that we could definitely look into for this year. Ensuring a large open space, maybe something that has a little bit of covering, or making sure that the bags can withstand the elements. And then the opportunity for folks to actually come in and take their time looking at the display from afar.
Coming up next, your Cold Stone Creamery birthday shoutouts.
We rely on each other to be there in the good and bad times.
Parents rely on me for making sure that their kids are always in the best of their health.
The community relies on me when emergencies strike.
My students rely on me to move them higher in what they're learning.
Our kids rely on us to provide them with all the support they need.
For keeping us in touch every day,
for every call and schedule I receive, and for every emergency I respond to.
And with my need to respond in the timeliest manner,
to keep my knowledge updated.
For keeping us connected every day, we only rely on Docomo Pacific.
Guam is truly a majestic place with its sheer natural beauty, wealth of beaches, and culturally rich landscape. Unfortunately, Guam has a real problem with unwanted invasive species. Help us in preventing their introduction and spread. The coconut rhinoceros beetle, the little fire ant, the African snail, Siam weed. These are just a few of the numerous invasives on Guam. Follow proper custom procedures when bringing plants and animals into Guam.
Help protect Guam. Tell your family and friends about invasive species.
To report invasive species, call 475-PET.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest rounds of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
On this Thursday, January 28th, we say happy birthday to Kai Ayana Domingo and Sky Daniel Domingo. Enjoy your special day from mom, dad, family, and friends. Michelle Santos has a birthday today, so thank you for all that you do. Your birthday shout out says simply, I love you and I am proud of you. Happy birthday, Michelle. Happy birthday likewise, number 15 to Maya Monique. To our baby girl, your family is sending you all of their love. And Mayor Sablan Babauta has a birthday today, so wishing you a happy, blessed birthday. Sending you lots of love, hugs, and kisses from the entire family. Stay safe and esta aquí.
That's going to do it for us here on Primetime. Thanks for watching. Good night.